So it seems like not only have we got this whole situation with Jack to deal with his own, but it seems like we got some big information about Big Mom, Brook returning, and a whole lot more in this One Piece chapter. So I don't normally talk about the little front colours that One Piece normally has, like, because, you know, they're always like little cutesy kind of things, but one that actually kind of made me giggle this week is when we saw, like, Zoro's old, like, school where he, like, learned style, and I love that all the students there are, like, all trying to, like, do the one-eyed thing, like, and do the free sword style, and just, like, his teacher, his master, he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, what are we doing with these kids and all that? I don't know, just, like, I normally don't pay much attention to them, but there's just a nice chuckle where I see, like, what everyone's been up to, you know, whilst during the times, because it's a nice thing to add. And now into One Piece tradition, everyone's getting drunk and having a drink and discussing what they should do next. Honestly, it was kind of a nice thing to see, like, hey, you know, let's go fucking drink with the fucking relatives of Zone, or like, let's have a fucking party, because they're vanilla people. It's like, yo, we fucking reunite with Brook. Like, Brook wasn't like, you know, like a big, like, oh my god, you know, huge thing, because they did say, like, oh, the corpses of one of your friends, and it's like, oh, by the way, Brook, you look like a fucking pile of shit. Like Luffy just said, well, the problem is, these minks really like bones, and yeah. Since Brook is literally made out of bones, they just absolutely want to destroy him and everything. And they're like, I kind of liked it when you saw, like, Wanda, she's there, like, kind of blushing a bit and saying, yo, we really like Brook. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the most attention Brook's had in the series since the time together, I gotta lie. It's like, honestly, like, out of everyone, it's like, yeah, why the fuck not? It was like, we kind of found out more of the reasons what exactly happened, like why are they treated so kindly in here, and it's mainly because after the whole incident that happened, you know, with Jack and everyone else, it's like, okay, this is kind of interesting, you know, Chopper patched them up and all that, you know, and they were pretty much really kind to, like, the Minx people, and that's why they're being, like, really treated very kindly, and it's like, they're explaining, like, what pretty much happened as they were trying to run away from, like, Big Mom, which we find out she was, like, running away from, like, the singing ship, and this is the thing, the two people that were there on Fisherman Island, their people were there, and not to mention as well, one of the people from the worst generation, Capone, was actually there as well, and he's teamed up with Big Mom, so that's interesting to see that Capone, like, out of, like, you know, the worst generation, is that he teamed up with a Yonko. Like, I was actually kind of surprised, like, that out of all the guys, I thought he would have just tried to do his own thing, but he's like, hey, forget about it. I know, it's horrible fucking Joker Mafia, I'm so sorry. And they kind of realized, yeah, their target is Caesar, and, you know, he wasn't too thrilled about being the idea of, like, going back to Big Mom or anything, and saying, like, hey, we kind of need you for business. So, pretty much everyone, you know, Brook, Chopper, Sanji, Nami, I liked it that all of them got their time, and they were actually, all of them were responsible for getting rid of, like, you know, using Soul Solid to get rid of the cannonballs, freezing them, like, Chopper as well, throwing them, like, Diano Jamblade from, like, Sanji's side, and it's like, yeah, they're fucking going in, like, they actually go, like, fuck it in, and it's like, they couldn't use the coup de burst, because mainly, like, you know, the people that do that, they're responsible for that are Usopp and, like, Frankie, and it's like, oh shit, we actually do need these fucking guys here. So what Nami had to do is like, yeah, I had to use a weather egg, and it was like, yeah, let's just build up a storm so we can get away from them. And I was like, that's pretty goddamn clever. And even everyone else is there, like, you know, clapping, saying like, hey, you know, you guys aren't like the biggest, like, because, you know, let's be honest, like, out of all of them, they're probably like the weakest compared to them, if you're not including kind of like Frankie in there and all that, and not like Sanji on that list. But, you know, like, everyone kind of makes a bit of flack saying, oh, Chopper, like Nami and all them are like kind of like the weakest ones, like next to Brook as well. And I'm like, you know what, they did fucking good job. I mean, like, not everyone can run away from a Yonko ship, so, you know, you gotta give them credit for that. So yeah, they pretty much managed to arrive from Zou and actually go straight into there, and it was like, yeah, we went to Zou, and if there wasn't we would have lost everyone to, you know, the Mokomo, like, dukedom, it was like, which was like their intro. It's like, oh, by the way, the prince is fucking alive, you know, the ruler of the country. And it was like, yeah, because we found out as well that we have pretty much, you know, we have two kings in this country, and it's the King of Dawn, Prince, like, you know, Rashi, and the King of Dust, Master Nekomumashi, which is some fucking names, I'm not gonna fucking lie. We didn't really see much of Law in this chapter, though, to be fair. Like, he was pretty much there with his crew and everything, saying, like, hey, you know, look at this and all that, you know, hey, we're reunited, you know, Law, what's going on, bro? It's, like, not too much going into it. So I was like, yeah, that was kind of cool. And they rushed over and all that, saying, like, oh, we better fucking get over here. And he was like, oh, it was pretty much near a month ago, like, all this kind of stuff happened. It's like, we'd always had, like, you know, this bell that would ring when a guest had arrived in Makomo, and it's like, yeah, it hadn't rung in a month, and it's like, after Beppo and his crew came until one fine day, we were mistaken. That wasn't the bell that rang. That was actually the raid. And it turns out it's like, oh, give up, you know, rise up from the Wano King. So it's like, samurais aren't treated very well here. And it's like, that's one thing that they actually said in the start of the chapter. It's like, yo, don't bring up samurais and all that. Don't bring up, you know, Momonosuke. Like, don't bring it all there. And that's one of the reasons why Momonosuke, we found out with him, is like, yeah, he's, like, still there. And I guess he's hiding out pretty much because, like, yeah, they don't treat them too kindly around here. And it's like, it's kind of glad that, you know, we didn't get Kinemon and the rest of them a little bit. Otherwise, they would have caused a lot more situations if they actually arrived alongside with Luffy and crew. So that was kind of nice, convenient timing. And it's like, we found out with them that they're pretty much just sitting out on the Thousand Sunny saying, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to call it. Like, we're going to fucking call it a day. We're exhausted. So I'm kind of curious about what exactly is going into that. And it's interesting to see that there's, like, 2 factions on, like, Zou. Like, I'm kind of curious about that. But, yeah, overall, that was a pretty goddamn, like, information dump chapter. I'm glad we got some information so far. And it seems like we're going to get a little bit of the flashback of everything that kind of happened and more about, like, this Raizo and, like, you know, the Wano Kingdom. Hopefully next week in the chapter One Piece. If it is coming out next week, please, like, I don't want to be one chapter, then a week off. One chapter, like, you know, yo, Oda, do, you know, months worth of chapters, then take a week off. That's what, if that's honestly, that's the production rate, I'm fucking fine with that. But I enjoyed this chapter, and I give this one like a 7, like a 7.5 out of 10. There was some interesting stuff that we needed to know in this chapter, but let me know in the comments down below. But that's all from me, so thank you much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.